At this afternoon's top stories, Prime Minister Harris says government is committed to mental health care, Guyana government to roll out parking meter system, and experts warn of Trump's effects on U.S.-China relations. Good afternoon. Welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, December 6, 2016. I am Shaira Flanders. Nationally, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris has described the completion of the Mental Health Day Treatment Center as a major accomplishment for community health services. The center was officially handed over to government on Monday, and during the ceremony, the Prime Minister noted the significance of having that type of facility in the Federation.
This is not only the first such center in the Federation, but also in the wider OECS. We are therefore creating a wonderful legacy, and we are making a beautiful history.
The project cost around $1.3 million, with the government providing about $1.2 million. The Prime Minister said this is an indication of the government's commitment to providing support for mental health care.
Because we were committed to health care, because we understand that our people need this support, that the country must show its concern to those who are vulnerable, those who are stigmatized in our communities. We determine that we will find the funds to bring it to successful completion.
The aim of the center is to use rehabilitative treatments to ultimately reintegrate patients back into society. Minister of Public Infrastructure, the Honorable Ian Liebert, has emphasized the direct and spin-off benefits of a new cruise ship pair. During the St. Christopher Air and Seaport Authority's press conference on Monday to address the construction of a second cruise pair, he noted that the new and enhanced ports will accommodate larger cruise ships.
As the new and larger vessels come online, the new enhanced ports will capture the itinerary calls, leaving the existing older ships to continue servicing the less equipped ports. And of course, a second cruise pier will position St. Kitts to be the recipient of those larger cruise vessels.
Minister Liebert said this development would not only affect SCASPA, but it would also have an impact on the grassroots economy.
This development and development of SCASPA or SCASPA's infrastructure is not about SCASPA. It is about the national consideration. Because when we assess the benefit of the second pier to the country as a whole and approach it as a necessary national infrastructure and not just a pier, because we are aware of the impact that such a development has on what they call the grassroots economy.
Minister Liebert said more passengers will create opportunities for employment and self-employment of Kittitians and Nevisians, and that there will be an increased earning of foreign exchange and an opportunity to showcase St. Kitts Nevis for returned land-based visits. He added that there will be an increased purchase of real estate and promotion of the Citizenship by Investment Program, or CBI. Minister Liebert said the second cruise pair project has full support from the cabinet. Statistics from 14 CARICOM countries are in the Federation attending a workshop aimed at developing a regional data quality assurance framework. The workshop, which runs from Monday, December 5th to Friday, December 9th, is facilitated by Statistics Canada in collaboration with the local Department of Statistics. Carlton Phipps, Director of Statistics, said that the workshop is extremely important to St. Kitts and Nevis and the region on a whole, noting that meaningful lessons will be taken away for use in various statistics departments in the region.
This workshop is very important as we seek to advance statistics in the region and within St. Kitts Nevis. The aim or the objective behind this is to build credibility and quality statistics, and the framework in which we're working on or developing is to strengthen our statistics within the region.
Roland Budrew, Director, Economic Statistics Division at Statistics Canada, said they are grateful to be able to facilitate the workshop, as it is their role to facilitate the building up of the framework.
The idea here is really to try and bring all together the experience of all the countries, share this experience, and try and come up with the original perspective on the quality assurance framework. Really what we're looking at is to come up with a good draft document of the quality assurance framework, which then will be reviewed and validated by member countries, the CARICOM as well. So, and you know, that's up to the region to bring it to the final version of the document.
The Government of Canada is funding a new statistical capacity building initiative for the Caribbean region, namely the Project for the Regional Advancement of Statistics in the Caribbean. The project, which cost 19.5 million Canadian dollars, aims to strengthen the statistical system of the Caribbean in order to improve socio-economic measures and support evidence-based policy making. Regionally, in Guyana, the Traffic Department has given its recommendations to City Hall before the government rolls out its parking meter system. We hear more from HGP's Javon Vickery.
The concerns of Traffic Chief Dion Moore about the placement of parking meters in the city have been submitted to City Hall. Previously, Mr. Moore was not happy that there wasn't much discussion between the police and the Georgetown municipality on the parking system, which is expected to be functional before Christmas. In an interview on Monday, Mr. Moore said that he met with officials of City Hall to discuss his department's concerns.
First, we made some observations and we made a proposal to them, of which they in turn would have to submit a proposal to us for discussion and then the way forward.
Are you concerned that where these meters might be placed could have possible traffic congestion, especially within the city?
Parking meters is for the members of the public to be a little bit more safe and to have an arrangement to ease the traffic congestion.
Meanwhile, there is the possibility that more roads could be closed during the festive season.
In our Christmas presentation, we had indicated where and where are the roads likely to be closed, but it's not a hard and fast decision. It's based on the situation at the time and the decision we take on the ground. So some years it will be part of Regent Street, part of Raab Street, Border Street as a street that is predominantly being used by pedestrians and potential shoppers. Would be closed on Christmas Eve day. But like I said, it's a decision that we made based on the volume of traffic at the time.
The department has deployed over 200 ranks to monitor the traffic situation in the city. Javon Vickery, HGP Nightly News.
The St. Lucia Fire Service has moved to provide support to both their employees and other individuals affected by a fatal accident that severely injured 4 persons on Saturday. HTS News Force's Miguel Favory has the details.
Acting Chief Fire Officer Joseph spoke to the media Monday morning, expressing condolences to the family and co-workers of 49-year-old Anthony Sherabin. Sherabin succumbed to injuries sustained in a traffic crash when the Manny's Bakery bread delivery vehicle he was driving collided with a southbound ambulance near Samans Park on the Shock Highway. The acting CFO says the incident no doubt has taken a toll on both fire officers involved in the crash and the accident victim's family. He has given assurances that they have the full support of the SLFS.
I also want to express my support for the fire officers who were involved in the accident. It is truly a traumatic experience for them. The driver especially, who is inconsolable as we speak because of the situation that has occurred. We have secured the support of counseling services for these fire officers, and I have gotten an assurance from the EAP to assist the family if any family member is employed with government. They can also benefit from that kind of counseling services.
The acting chief fire officer disclosed that the first responders did not sustain serious injuries. According to him, the patient who was being transported to hospital at the time of the collision was the least injured. Mr. Joseph noted that the last time the fire service faced such a traumatic incident involving an ambulance was in 1992, when both the ambulance driver and patient succumbed to their injuries.
It is something that we are aware, that can happen at any time, because the ambulance is, always, undertaking emergency runs, and of course, in some situations, it's really a matter of life and death in terms of the response time. However, we have always told our officers that they are to abide by the rules of the road. Of course, you drive an emergency vehicle, but the traffic laws apply to all the vehicles. However, I did explain that we have situations where we certainly have to exceed the speed limits and so on to get the person who requires critical care to the hospital on time.
While the extent of the damage to the ambulance is unclear, the acting chief fire officer admits that its absence from a working fleet of emergency appliances will hamper their operations. He is making an appeal to motorists to give way when emergency vehicles are approaching with sirens wailing and beacons flashing.
We do have complaints by the drivers of drivers refusing to adhere to move when the siren is on or the beacons are flashing. However, we also know that some persons drive with their windows up, sometimes music blaring, or they just may be distracted. So the issue of proceeding along the highways safely cannot be ignored.
Joseph reveals that the fire officer behind the wheel of the emergency vehicle was a very experienced ambulance driver. Miguel Favre, HTS News Force.
On the international scene, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump says he plans to take an aggressive position when it comes to dealing with China. Here's more.
Donald Trump did something that no U.S. leader has done since 1979. He talked to the president of Taiwan, Tsai Ing-wen. It has been long-standing policy that the U.S. doesn't do anything really that could be seen as meddling with China's affairs. The immediate question became, did he know that? Was this an ignorant accident or a signal that policy is changing? Trump tweeted defensively, writing, "The president of Taiwan called me today to wish me congratulations on winning the presidency. Thank you." Then followed up with a tweet highlighting that the U.S. sells Taiwan military equipment, basically questioning why he shouldn't have had that conversation. His top aides immediately downplayed the controversy.
And all he did was receive a phone call. I think everybody should just calm down. He's aware of what our nation's policy is.
Chinese state media responded, calling the president-elect naive, predicting his tone would change once he was in the Oval Office. His current tweets paint a different picture. Writing late on Sunday, did China ask us if it was okay to devalue their currency, making it hard for our companies to compete, heavily tax our products going into their country? The U.S. doesn't tax them, or to build a massive military complex in the middle of the South China Sea? I don't think so. That's not actually true. The Chinese do pay an import tax of between 2.5 to 2.9%, but it is an indication that some on his team are urging him to take a tougher stance with China, and he might be listening.
This whole State Department mythology that we have to somehow let the Chinese dictate to us is nonsense, and I thought it was a good signal to the world that Donald Trump is going to be his own person, and that if the Chinese want to deal with the United States, they're going to have to actually deal with the United States. They're not going to be able to intimidate us.
U.S.-China experts say that could be dangerous if he follows through. It could launch a trade war.
Most of the things that China exports to us are actually only partly made in China. They are designed in the U.S., Japan, Europe, and then partly put together in China, finished, and then come here. So that whole chain is going to be affected. So the suppliers and the consumers would be affected.
The current administration stepped in to try and calm the tensions while questioning the motives.
It's unclear exactly what the strategic effort is, what the aim of the strategic effort is, and it's unclear exactly what potential benefit could be experienced by the United States, China, or Taiwan. But I'll leave I'll leave that to them to explain.
What is the strategy? Like many things when it comes to Donald Trump, we simply just don't know yet. But we do know it could eventually have massive economic consequences for the entire world. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera, Washington.
And now for the weather. Current conditions are fair skies with a gentle breeze of 12 miles per hour from the east-northeast. Seas are slight to moderate with waves of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft operators should exercise caution in the coastal waters east and north of the Leeward Islands. Today will be sunny to partly cloudy with the chance of a couple of brief passing and localized showers. Tonight will be fair to partly cloudy with the chance of a light and brief passing shower. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Shaira Flanders. Have a good one.